This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to Come for Tea.
Sometimes when you're having a friend in for tea, it's fun to bake something, and a quick bread is a really easy thing to put together. And here's a delicious one. It's a strawberry cream tea bread. Now, whenever I make a tea bread, I go to the trouble not only of spraying the loaf pan with some baking spray, but then I make a sleeve for it. And basically what I do is I take a piece of parchment that will fit along the bottom and go up over the edges, and then I take another piece of parchment and put it crosswise, again about the length of it, and again it just kind of peeks over the top just a little bit. And you'd be amazed at how much easier it makes to get your tea bread out of the loaf pan. Once I get the parchment fitted, then I just go ahead and do a quick spray. One of the great things about tea bread is that you can make it all in one bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my dry ingredients, and I'm going to measure out 2 cups of flour, put that in my bowl, and the leavening for this quick bread is only baking soda, and so I'm going to put in about 3/4 of a teaspoon, and then just 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to use some sugar, about 3/4 of a cup of that, and I'm going to use my whisk and break that all up. I want to make sure it's all mixed together before I start adding my wet ingredients. And so for my wet ingredients, I'm going to add 2 eggs, and notice that I'm breaking the egg into a little bowl, not right into the big bowl, and the reason is that way I don't get any shell or anything in my mixture. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, and the thing that makes this tea bread so moist is some sour cream. We're going to use about 1/2 cup. Now I'm using a light sour cream, but you could also use a fat-free if you like. So I'm going to add that into my bowl, and using a spatula this time, I'm going to start mixing those wet ingredients into the dry. And you'll see I kind of have to work it a little slowly because I want to then get enough of it mixed up to that I can add 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And I usually melt that first so that it's kind of cooled while I'm getting the rest of the ingredients together. That way I don't have hot butter hitting those eggs and curdling the eggs. But then I just use my spatula and I work those dry ingredients and the wet ingredients together. Tea bread batter is usually very thick, like this one. So you do need to kind of just put a little bit of elbow grease into it. Then for the fruit, I'm using all these great fresh strawberries that are in season. So what I need to do is come up with about 1.5 cups of those. And I basically cut the strawberry in half, and then I usually cut it in 4ths, and then again in probably another 4 slices. I basically want these little finely, well, not finely diced, but a medium diced strawberry. Strawberries have a lot of liquid in them, so if I were to leave the chunks too big, it would tend to leave a really big strawberry hole, so to speak, in the bread, and I don't want that. I want these sort of medium diced strawberries to be sprinkled through the batter. So once I get my 1.5 cups, I put those into my bowl along with some pecans, and I use about 1/2 cup of chopped pecans, and I want to fold this in. Now remember, with folding, it's not a heavy-handed stir because we don't want to crush the berries. We just want to lightly incorporate them so that when we get to the point we're ready to put this in its pan, we see that the nuts and the berries are nicely distributed through the batter. Now then I go ahead and I spoon the batter into my loaf pan. And then once I get the batter in, I take my spatula and I kind of smooth the top down a little bit. And the reason I do that is because I want this, it's not going to even itself out like a cake batter, so I want to do it for it. Then I go ahead and I pop it into a 350-degree oven for about 55 minutes. And when that time is up, I bring it out and I put it on a cake rack, but then I get a skewer and I stick that down in the middle of it just to make sure that it comes out clean and that it's pretty well cooked through. Then I leave it on this rack for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, I take my sleeve and I lift it out. See how well that comes out? The bread is just perfectly intact. And then I leave it on my cooling rack to let it cool a little bit more. Now today I'm going to serve this tea bread with a little butter and a couple of fresh strawberries. And I've brewed a cup of Lady Londonderry tea, which is strawberry lemon tea. It will go great with this tea bread. Enjoy!
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Come for Tea show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas, send us an email. Thanks for watching. It's time for tea.